After multiple singles, Logic finally dropped Vinyl Days last Friday. And right off the rip, you see that this album is 30 songs long and can definitely look overwhelming, but in reality, this project is full of skits and voicemails left by celebrities kind of dissing or praising Logic, really showing the polarization that are rap fans. So the album really is 20 or 21 songs with about 10 skits meshed in there throughout the album, and honestly, I think it's really cool, humorous, and ironic to see the likes of Fantano, Michael Rappaport, Aaron Judge, Morgan Freeman, etc. amongst the celebrities within these skits. Now, as far as the music goes, Logic really went back to his deep pre-Under Pressure roots, right? And he went straight to boom bap hip hop with this album. And we know Logic can flip samples in his own way like no other, right? He did that throughout this whole album so flawlessly. And here on this album, you know, he is pretty much the anti-mumble rapper. You know, he says in the song 10 Years with Royce da 5'9" that he doesn't really like mumble rap. So if you love the golden age of rap, the 90s boom bap, or just a hip hop head in general, this album is definitely for you. Pretty much every beat is boom bap and full of illustrious samples. And you even have some nice 808s mixed in there here and there on a few songs, especially on Black White Boy, which was one of the best songs on this entire project. At first, of course, like the title Black White Boy, I thought that the song would be about him being black and white and that subject that people, you know, kind of got tired of, but in reality, he's just saying like, hey, watch this black white boy spit fire, and he does. The other production on this album that I really thought was top tier is Bleed It. The song sounds like it came straight out of License to Ill by the Beastie Boys. And the mixing and mastering throughout this album sounds really vintage, sounds really 90s, and real vinyl and authentic sounding. And as far as the content goes, it is exactly what hip-hop fans want, right? You have the perfect mix of braggadocious, introspective, and storytelling content with plenty of entendres and punchlines throughout the record. And I think one of the most important themes that we get throughout this whole album is on the song LaDonda, where Logic talks about hearing Anthony Fantano reviews, right? And how Fantano pretty much absolutely shits on his Supermarket and Confessions projects. And you know, Logic is very upset about this at first. He's very sensitive to it, and he pretty much says, for a lack of better terms, he really wants to kill Fantano. However, they have a legit conversation about the music, and Fantano says, look, this is really just my opinion, and I'm pretty much just giving constructive criticism, which Logic does take. He actually uses it to get better, and it is seen throughout this album, and how this album is so consistent and cohesive sounding. You see, people that review music are not intentionally trying to shit on your art. If someone gives a bad review, they are genuinely trying to get you to do better. We genuinely want to see you get better, and you know, we're just saying how we think you can do it. It's not personal. Music is always subjective. It is an opinion, like Fantano said. You know, if I'm praising this album, that doesn't mean everyone's going to absolutely love this album. At the end of the day, all artists have to know that art, music is subjective, and you could probably always get better, even if you are the best. But I do think it's really awesome that Logic finally realizes that it is just an opinion, it's just subjective, but also, you know, take it and try to get better with it. And he even goes as far to let Fantano on the album and leave a voicemail on it, which, you know, Fantano once again is explaining like he wants it to be consistent and cohesive, so he doesn't know what to do, but he's just leaving the voicemail. So I found that really humorous. As far as the features go, I thought the features were awesome, especially between Action Bronson, Currency, Russ, Wiz, Royce, AZ. You have AZ on there. DJ Premier and The Game and all the other features they had. I think they really had like a cipher with all of Bobby Boy records, so every feature on there really had its place. But my two favorite features throughout this album were Action Bronson and RZA. I think Action Bronson on In My Lifetime sounded so great. That beat sounded like it was made for Action Bronson, and the chemistry that those two had together sounded like they had been rapping together for years. And RZA on Porta One, I absolutely love this track. In my opinion, it's one of the best songs on the whole album. Just hearing RZA again with Logic. Obviously, Logic has always had Wu-Tang Clan as one of his biggest influences, so I just love RZA's voice, and I think he killed it. But at the end of of the album, Logic ends it with a song called Sayonara, and it's really his own last call, like by Kanye, right? Like telling the story about his record label, how it began and what it's come to and how it's coming to an end. And Logic is kind of known for hating on Def Jam and record labels, right? But he says he still made a lot of good memories, loves the people that got him to where he is, and how much he does actually appreciate those people that worked hard for him at the label. And I really enjoy these storytelling type of tracks. I think hearing that perspective of how someone made it can be really inspirational to artists like me. And there is a narrator toward the end of this 10-minute track. I think it's someone from his record label, right? Where it says that Logic believes that hip hop is still alive and that the future can still be bright. And I agree. I think people like Logic will definitely influence young artists to do more raw, real hip hop, boom bap, and keep that form and still push the envelope, as that narrator says at the end of the song. And I think that's a very important concept to keep hip hop alive, right? You really want to keep that form of boom bap and a lot of freestyle rap, right? Where the verses are free of style, where you can have that introspective and braggadocious hip hop within the same track, which Logic shows throughout this whole album. Overall, I think this album was super cohesive and well gelled. I mean, you can listen to this thing front to back and thoroughly enjoy it. And I don't think there's a bad song on this project. I think every song is at least good. I do think the only thing I kind of went meh with was like the first half of Decades, where he's kind of singing lethargically, but I still enjoyed the theme of that song. But the second half of the song, where he starts rapping and then the hook comes back in with a little bit more instrumental, is nice. But other than that, every song is extremely re-listenable, and I've reheard this album several times already. And for boom bap in this day and age, it doesn't really get boring. He really keeps it fresh and keeps you on your toes throughout the album. I really think this is his best work since The Incredible True Story. So that's what I thought about Vinyl Days, but what did you think about Vinyl Days? Did you enjoy this album as much as I did or not? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming by. If you liked the video, hit a like and subscribe to the channel if you love talking music, listening to music, and making music just as much as I do. Follow me on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter at EJSpark1, and as always, you know what it is. It's peace, love, I love s'mores, EJ, out.